Hi everybody, it's Mel with Mel's Crafty Mojo, and we are going to do the tutorial for the Snowman Wreath. And the first thing I want to do is I know I'm going to use this sign. And I always use the E6000 for my signs. And I know that it's going to take 24 hours to cure. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get my sign ready and prep. I'm only going to use 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put some E6000 on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue. And that hot glue is going to just hold it while that E6000 sets. And I want it to squish out the sides. I want to try to cover as much of this cable tie around the edges as possible with this E6000. So I want to set it in there really good. Just like that. And we can set this aside. And while that is drying, we will work on the base. Okay, so the second thing that I do is I like my wreath bases more of an oval shape. So I will take my round wreath frames and I will squish them to give me more of an oval shape. And I try to find the 2 centers of the ends and then squish it on the side. So I know one of these center bottom ones is going to be my bottom middle. So that's where I'm going to start. And I'm going to start with my 21-inch mesh. And this is just 21-inch deco mesh. I'm just going to gather it. And I always zip tie my mesh to the base. And I'm going to go right in front of this tie. Now sometimes when you do it like this, remember this tie is going to have double in there. It will have the double deco mesh because this is where you're going to end. So sometimes it can get a little bit thick. If your mesh is really thick, you can always push it down in there and zip tie that too. Okay? But just to keep it out of my way, I'm just going to tie it right there. Alright, so now the other thing is, on this wreath, I am trying not to get it so big and poofy. I kind of want it a little bit thinner. Normally, I do my poofs about 11. I was saying we're between 10.5 and 11.5 inches. But because I want this a little bit thinner, I don't want it as poofy, I'm going to do mine about 9 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to skip this tie. And I'm going to go to the next tie, which that's usually a quick way to do a 10-inch poof. And then just bring it back to this tie. That's usually how I measure my poofs. But I will usually go a little bit further, which will give me between 11 and 11.5 inch poofs. Okay? But since I want to do them smaller, I want to say about 9-inch poofs. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to this one, but I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Okay. So right there. All right, so I have an eyeball. Let me see what that's going to give me, because I may want to do it just a little bit smaller yet. And I'm not going to want to fluff it out too much, because again, I want a smaller poof. I think that's good. I think that's good. Let me do one more. And I'll be able to tell you if that's what the look I'm going for. I'm just going to stuff it in there. The only thing that I really do want to make sure that I do is curl that end under, that finished edge under. Okay. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to try one of the ruffles in it and see what it looks like. See if that's going to work. And I'm bringing my ties, when I tie them, I'm pulling them up more in on top, and I'm doing that for a reason. You can manipulate the way your ribbons lay by how your ties lay. Okay, if you tie down here and you put your ribbon in like this, your ribbon's gonna be facing this way. So if that's the look that you want to tie it more down here. I want mine up here, because I'm doing the poof smaller. So I don't want a whole lot of empty space up there. So I want to tie them on top. All right. Let me get a couple of these. I made these up earlier, and I will show you how I made these here in a little bit. but just for me to see how this is gonna look. Yes, this is the mesh that I really want to see. I want to see the 10-inch mesh. I'm using the white 21-inch deco mesh, basically just as an added filler. So I want more of this mesh to cover it up. So I think that's the look that I'm wanting. Yep. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to leave those two in there. And I'm not being very particular about how I'm doing these poofs because I need them thicker. I'm only using it to cover up a little bit more of this frame. I just need to add a little bit more. So I want it kind of crunchy. So I'm not really being too picky about how they're poofing out. It's just my base. Okay. So I will finish going all the way around and then we will be right back. All right, so I think what we're gonna do when I got to the end, I just brought it up and over this little poof to this middle ring because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna fill this middle ring with some even smaller poofs just to give me that coverage in between the top and the very bottom. And I'm using an attachment, so I still need some poofs or something for the attachment to rest on, to sit on. So I could either use bigger poofs to give it more material to set on. But again, I want to try to keep this not so big and not so poofy. So I still want to use the smaller poofs on top. But I want to make sure that it's covered. I'm getting good coverage in between these two poofs. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this middle. And I am just eyeballing it. and basically just giving me a little bit more coverage. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm just going to zip tie it to that middle ring. And these will all come up, and then you're going to have your ones up here folding down into the other one. So I think I like where that one's sitting. That one's sitting nice in there. And again, that's just giving me extra coverage. That's all I'm doing. So I'm not measuring out a certain amount. I'm taking it and I'm going where the wreath, the mesh is guiding me. See? And that's usually how I work. I usually let the mesh and the ribbon and all that stuff tell me where it needs to go. And then I just figure out a way to get it in there. I don't have a rhyme or reason. So I am going to go ahead and cut these because I do like that. Okay, so we are going to go over and see where this one needs to go. And I'm thinking about right there. And these won't have any ribbon or anything in them. It's just to cover up that frame. So you tighten it down a little bit. Get it right where you need it. But that's what I'm going to do around the middle ring. So that middle ring, I am going to go all the way around. And then come back and we will do the top. Okay? All right, so now we're at the end of that middle ring, right? So we're going to bring it up to the very top ring. I don't want to pull it really super tight. I want to kind of lay that little nub right there for that spot. You see right there? So I want to kind of fill that in. And then we're going to go all the way around the top, just like we did the bottom. So I'm going to come over here, come to this one, go back just a little bit. So we're going to just keep doing the same thing. Can go to that one, come back just a bit, and then go into that one. I like that, how that's going. All right, so I will finish this up and we will be back. Okay, so we've got to the end. I went into the first tie that we started with on this row. I untied it, laid it in, and now we're going to cut off the excess. Now I'm going to leave me enough because I'm going to feed it back through and zip tie it to the frame. And we still have a bunch left over. So you'll be able to use this as another filler. So I'm just going to weed it back through. Let's see. Find a good spot. Yep. Alright, that's a good spot. And just zip tie it to the frame. So this right here is my bottom. So now we are going to start adding these. Okay, so this is the 10-inch snowdrift mesh. I cut these at 18 inches. When you take your piece, you're going to roll the end just a couple times. Do the other side, just roll it a couple times, and then you're just going to scrunch it. Just like that. And then we are going to add it to this one. And I'm going to look and see if I want to add it this way. Or this way. I like that, but I think I'm going to go with the other way. Because the idea that I'm doing for the ribbon, I think the ribbon is going to lay better if I do it this way. That's the other thing I need to see. Do I want it face up or face down? Yeah, I think I like that. So I think I'm going to go that way. So you have your choice. You can either put them in this way with your curls under, or you can put them in this way with your curls up. And I think for the way that I'm going to do the ribbon, I think it's going to be better if I do it with the curls up. And this is another way you can tell. Go ahead and do one up top. And this one I am going to put in kind of crooked. Just to fill it. Okay, so you see how full that's getting in there now? So on these ones, the top ones, I am going to lay however I need them to lay. So I'm not going to, put them in this way or put them in this way. It may be kind of crooked. Again, I'm letting the mesh tell me where it needs to go. See? So it all depends. My clothespins are about wore out. So I think that's filling in really nice. Alright, so I will do that all the way around and we will get ready for the next step. Alright, so we've got the base done so far. I have one little ruffle left. And I may throw this in there just to use it up. And I'm thinking I may like put it somewhere in here just to fill this in. And I think that's where I'm going to put my legs to my snowman. So I may end up throwing it in there. I don't know yet. I won't know until I get ready to place the snowman in there. But I did start on the ribbons. I did figure out how I wanted to do the ribbons, so I thought I would show that really quick. So I decided on these three as the tails. So I'm going to use those three for the tails, which is this. And then I'm going to use, I decided I am going to use this red with the houndstooth border. So I really like that, so I'm going to make a little bow with it that sits right here. So if you see, it has the little bows. Okay. So I cut these. I cut all the tails at 12 inches. And then I cut these at 13 inches. And I did that because we're going to overlap it a little bit to glue it. Because all I'm going to do I'm going to glue it like that with a little bit of hot glue just to give it that extra, I guess, peace of mind, because I don't want this coming out if I just put it in a tie. So I'm going to glue it just a little bit, and you just need a little bit of hot glue, just enough to hold it. Okay? And then all you're going to do is just push it in, find your center, and just scrunch it. Yeah, it's easier for me to do it like this. There's kind of a chunk of glue in there. I need to loosen it up a little bit, but that's okay. So that's all you're going to do is you're just going to pinch it and put it in on top of your tails. All right? So I will show you how I did that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, just like that, not a lot. just going to overlap it slightly. Do not burn your fingers. Use one of my trusty clothespins to tap it down. And then throw it aside and let it dry. So that's all you're going to do. Just take a little bit. I used to do this with the 7/8 ribbon. And do some little decorative loops in the middle of the bows too. I haven't done that for a while. Might have to do that again. Alright, so we have one more. Just be really careful not to burn your fingers, because you don't need very much. You just want that extra. That little extra. Alright. Alright, so we're going to put a few of these in so I can show you how I'm putting them in. So you're going to take your 3. And I'm just going to pinch it in the middle. Just like that. I'm going to untie that one once. Now, another thing, when I'm putting them in there, let's see if I can get that fixed a little bit. When I'm putting these into the ties, I like to put them in just like this. So if you're sliding them into the tie, slide them in just like that. A lot of people like, and if you know, it all depends on you, on how you like it, but this is the way I like it. A lot of people I see will put them down in here like this, or when you're going on the side, they go in like that. I like to do mine flat and then go in. So I always like to give it a little bend right there, because that's where I'm going to go with it. All right. And I'm bringing the tie up and over. And I'm just going to tie it once, because I'm going to untie that to put this in it. Right, so there's our little bow tie. I'm going to untie that one. Now on the bottom, little bow tie. I did put that end facing up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, I don't have anything else planned on going into these ties. So I am actually going to massacre this by pushing that tie back and down just a little bit. And then I will come back and fix the bow. And the ribbon. Okay. So we will do one more. And I will try to show you up close how I'm setting that bow in. I'm going to untie this once. Because when I did them, I tied them twice. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to undo the tie once to put the tails in. I need the ribbon tails to set as close to that mesh as I can. Okay. So I'm going to take the tails in and I'm going to bring that tie up. Now again, I'm going to cross it and then tie it one time around. And then we're going to grab one of our little circles. I'm going to find that seam I glued. Right? And I'm going to try to get the middle as close as I can. It don't have to be perfect. I don't like everything perfect. I'm going to untie once. It's like a half a twist, really. When I put this in, I'm putting it in like this. Okay, so when you put it in, you're going to put it in like this. And not like this. You're going to put it in like this. Opposite of what we're doing with the tails. And then I am going to wrap that tie. And then we are going to tuck that tie back. So I'm going to bend the tie back and down while I'm pushing down and back. Okay. We're going to straighten up our mesh. And then fix our bow. Just like that. Okay? So that's how we're going to do, and we're going to do that all the way around. We will do that in every tie, even the top. So when you get done doing the outside, you can come up and start working on the top. So everyone will have a bow like that. Okay? All right, so we have all the ribbon in. And these are not attached. I am just getting my placement set of where I want to put everything. So I'm thinking that looks good where it's at. Let me see. Yeah, I think that looks good. And I don't think I'm going to need a bow because I think this is enough without the bow. So I think we're going to start attaching the sign. So I'll move that over. Get my little towel. We're going to start attaching our Chanel stems. Just 2 is going to be enough to hold this sign pretty stable. I usually go overboard with these things, but I'm trying not to on this one. Alright, so I think that should be good. I think about right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my fuzzy stick and I'm going right down through the mesh as close to the metal frame as I can get. And this is the tricky part. So I'm going to pull it through, not going to attach it, just going to pull it through, come over here to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to weed it right down. Right through the mesh. I'm going to find that first bar. And some of your bows and some of your ribbons going to get a little smashed doing this part, but it's okay. We can fluff that back out. All right, now I'm gonna pull it just a little bit tighter. I'll reach under and I'm gonna grab both of them. And I'm gonna pull it down just a little bit. I am just gonna wrap it around right about there just a couple times, because I may have to move it once I put the other little attachments on. So I just want to hold it in that place for right now. And all I'm doing underneath, I'm just wrapping it around that first ring in your frame just a couple times. All right, I think we have that in there. Now his head, I am going to, his scarf is going to come down a little bit, but I don't want his scarf blocking the lettering. So I am going to end up probably putting like a little dab of glue on there to hold his scarf. But now all you're going to do is you're going to take these little wires that come with the attachment, and we're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to feed it through the mesh. Alright, so I need the bottom of his head right on top of that sign. Okay, let me see. And then one of the little wires I am going to pull over the wire frame, and one of them I'm going to pull under. And again, I'm not going to do this one really tight. I'm just going to wrap it a couple times just to get that side secure. And we're going to come over and feed the other one. And then just tie that a couple times. Now I need to make sure he is centered, which he needs to come over just a bit. Just like that. Make sure I'm going to be able to glue my little scarf. This is the trickiest part, is getting these wires fed down in there. through all your mesh and your other goodies. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this one completely off. So I think it turned out good. I'm happy with it. All right. So now okay, now we're going to do the hands. I think I'm wanting his hands to look like they're holding the sign. So again, I'm not going to tighten it really tight just yet. Just going to give it a couple twists because I want to bend it. Like that. And then I will probably put a dab of glue there. Like that. So I'm just going to tie that a couple times. And I am not going to glue anything down just yet, because now I need to see how we're going to do the legs. And I always like to bend them. I'm going to kind of dry fit it a little bit first. And for some reason, I always like to do the legs crossed. Something right there. The trick is going to be getting it in there without destroying this mesh. It's twisting his legs because I'm tying it off in the back really quick. But it's okay, we can move it back. I just want to secure it. Huh. Well, maybe we will do that. Bring it back up just for a minute. There we go. So now we're going to find that wire. And this is what I mean when I say I kind of let the wreath guide me. So I don't think I would have to cross his legs in this one. So the thing I do like about these attachments is they do have wires. So you can play with them. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he looks cute. Just like that. I think I probably will put just a couple little dabs of glue on his mittens and on his scarf, and we are done. When I get it hung up, I will take a picture, but I think that's it. So I thank y'all for joining me. Again, we have all of these supplies in our store. So if you go to melscraftymojo.com, right on the front page, there's going to be a picture of a black, red, and white Christmas display. If you click on that picture, it will give you all the coordinating pieces that we put together and the pieces that go to this. I'm sure Bobby will leave a card that will give you all the material list, and it will be right there. If you click on that black, white, and red display picture on our page, it will give you all the different items you can, coordinate. So you can use these, you can use other things that we have that coordinates with it. And thank you again for joining me. I hope y'all have a nice day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.